Vrindavan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Jagannath Puri ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Is there a volunteer to do the Sanskrit and word for word? One word. Oh.
Asatsu sarvada, mahadvinida kunapatmavadishu, Mahapurusha pada amsubir, Rastate jasu Acharyam etad yadat asatsu sarvada, Mahadvinda Mahapurusha padapam shubhe, Nirasta tejasu tadeva shobhanam, Not Ascharya. Wonderful. Yeah, that's wish. Asatsu. Evil. Sarvada. Always. Mahatvinda. The deriding of great souls. Kunapa Atmavadishu. Among those who have accepted the dead body as the self. Sa-irshyam. Envy. Mahapurusha. A great personality,
Padapam Shubhi,
Bhāgavatam Shri,
by the dust of the feet.
by the dust of the feet,
Nirastate Dhasu,
Nirastate Chasha,
whose glory is diminished.
whose glory is diminished.
Sat,
Tat,
that, Eva,
Eva,
certain,
certain,
Shobhana.
Shobhana,
Very good.
very good.
It is not wonderful for persons who have accepted the transient material body as the self to engage always in deriding great souls. Such envy on the part of materialistic persons is very good, because that is the way they fall down. They are diminished by the dust of the feet of great personalities. Purport. Everything depends on the strength of the recipient. For example, due to the scorching sunshine, many vegetables and flowers dry up, and many grow luxuriantly. Thus, it is the recipient that causes growth and dwindling. Similarly, Mahiyasam Padarajo Pishekam, the dust of the lotus feet of great personalities, offers all good to the recipient. But the same dust can also do harm. Those who are offenders at the lotus feet of a great personality dry up. Their godly qualities diminish. A great soul may forgive offenses, but Krishna does not excuse offenses to the dust of that great soul's lotus feet. Just as one can tolerate the scorching sunshine on one's head, but cannot tolerate the scorching sunshine on one's feet. An offender glides down more and more. Therefore, he naturally continues to commit offenses at the feet of the great soul. Offenses are generally committed by persons who falsely identify with the impermanent body. King Daksha was deeply engrossed in a misconception because he identified the body with the soul. He offended the lotus feet of Lord Shiva because he thought that his body, being the father of the body of Sati, was superior to Lord Shiva's. Generally, less intelligent men misidentify in that way, and they act in the bodily concept of life. Thus, they are subject to commit more and more offenses at the lotus feet of great souls. One who has such a concept of life is considered to be in the class of animals, like cows and asses. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Pati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lolita Sri Vishakhandatamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dīnabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Sapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Mancha Kolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nascharjameta Yadasatsu Sarvada Mahatvaninda Punapatma Vadishu Sarshyam Mahapurusha Padapankshubhir Nirasta Tejasu Tadeva Shobhanam. They still give away water? The speaker. Well, it's not surprising that you blaspheme Lord Shiva, because you're a Kunapatma body. Kuna, yes, yastir bhaktir kunape tridhatuke. Is that right? No. Yes, yatma buddhi kunape. Yeah. Yes, yasma. Yes, yatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke. This is material consciousness. To think that this bag of Kapapitta Vayu is oneself. We think of ourselves in terms of our flattering features, our good family, our wealth, our good looks, our education, whatever it is, all relative to this body. Because when this body is finished, the education's finished, the looks are finished, the wealth is finished, the aristocratic family is finished. Sango hiyam purusha, the living being, has nothing to do with any of this. But we identify with this body, which the Bhāgavatam disparagingly speaks of as a bag. I'm thinking of it in terms of all these good qualities, but the Bhāgavatam says it's just a bag. And what kind of a bag? A bag of mucus, bile, and air. That's all. According to Ayurvedic Shastra, these are the three constituents of the bodily constitution. And Kunapatma body means a person who is of the, just as we have Maya body, we have Nirvishesh bodies. So Kunapatma body, a person who declares, I'm this body, either explicitly or by his mentality and actions. I'm this body. Sometimes scientists that directly declare there's nothing but matter, consciousness is an epiphenomenon of matter, blah, blah. Or we say, I'm an American, I'm an Indian, I'm this, I'm that. So that's Kunapatma Bhat. I'm a Brahmin. I'm a Kshatriya. I'm a Leo, I'm a Scorpio. This is all Kunapadmavad. So that's what you are. You're a Kunapadmavadi, Sati says. You're thinking that your body is yourself. It's on those grounds that you insulted Lord Shiva. I am his father-in-law. I am in the superior position. Why does he fail to offer respects to his father-in-law? And it's all in the bodily concept of life. So you're unduly proud of this bodily concept of life. Asatsu kunapatma bhadisu. You're on the platform of that which is asat. Asat means temporary. Asat means unreal. And asat means bad, or here, evil. Prabhupada translates. Evil. Asatsu kunapatma bhadishu. You're an asat kunapatmavadi, a bad kunapatmavadi. So, given that this is what you are, na ascharyam, it's not surprising. If you've got 4 legs and a tail and you're a dog, it's not surprising that you bark. So it's not surprising that you offend Lord Shiva, because that's what we expect from a person like you, from a Kunapadmavadi. Shersham, Kunapadmavadi will be envious of those who have a better Kunapa, those who have a better bag, those who have a better education, better wealth, better house, better wife, better this, better that. We become envious. Grihamedinam, the Grihamedis are envious of one another. So always calculating, where do I stand in relation to others? So in that contaminated consciousness, and sarvada, always thinking like that, absorbed in that sort of mentality or steeped in that kind of mentality, then what will be the result? Mahadvinanda, that you'll criticize those who are great souls. Those who are in the mode of ignorance are described as nice kritiko in the Bhagavad Gita. Nice kritiko vasha. Someone know where that verse is? Nice kritiko vasha. Lazy, foolish, and expert in criticizing others. 1835, you think? Let's see. 28. Ayukta. Ayukta means not connected. Sometimes materially they're just not connected, but ayukta specifically means not Krishna conscious, disconnected from Krishna or disconnected from reality. Unfortunately, connected to the internet, but not to reality. And prakrita, materialistic, and stabdha, stubborn and obstinate. Shato means dishonest, lying. And naiskritiko, critical of others. This is where we get our juice. Everyone has to talk about something and get some pleasure from speaking and hearing. So the swans get together and talk about Krishna, talk about his pastimes, talk about his glories. And the crows get together and talk about the bad qualities of others. We were reading that the other day, right? Some people find good qualities even in those who are bad. But the critics will find bad qualities even where there's good. So naiskritiko and alasha means lazy, ishadi, and therefore always morose. And dirghasutri. Dirghasutri is one of my favorite words in Bhagavad Gita. You know what dirghasutri means? Procrastinating. It means sutra, you know, is a string. Sutre maniganaiva, pearls strung on a thread. And a person who has a thread is a sutri. And dirgha means long. So a dirgha sutri is a person who strings us along, who's probably anything that could be done in 10 minutes, it takes him 10 days. Dirgha sutri, procrastinating. This is quality of ignorance. Karta tamas uchate, right? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Karta tamas. This is the person who acts in the mode of ignorance. So naiskritika, always criticizing. Always criticizing. And that's not very good. But when he criticizes great souls, mahatmaninda, then he's in deep trouble. Mahatmaninda. Sadhu ninda, mahatmaninda, ninda. Even they'll criticize Krishna, Vajananti Mahamudra. So sadhu ninda, mahatmaninda is very dangerous. How is that? Mahapurusha padapam shubhi nirasta tejasu, by the dust of the lotus feet of the sadhu, such a person becomes nirasta tejasu, bereft of all power. Teja means power. How does Prabhupada put it here? Glory. Nirasta. Bereft of power, bereft of glory. Loses his potency, we would say. In the Nectar of Devotion, it's described that by offenses, one's devotional service becomes like the waning moon. In the Shikshashtakam, we hear about what is that? Chandrika Vitarana. Shreya Koreva Chandrika Vitarana. Full moon of all good fortune. Moon starts small and becomes bigger, then you get the full moon, full brightness. So by devotional service, step by step, slowly, slowly, one comes to the point, full moon. But by offenses, it becomes the waning moon, smaller, smaller, smaller. Finally, the waning moon becomes dark moon, means nothing. This is the effect of offenses. The offense to sadhus is taken very seriously by therefore Krishna, sadhureva samantavya, even a person whose behavior is discrepant, very discrepant. He's sudurachar, he's committed sudurachar. Durachar means, achar means activities or behavior, and durachar, misbehavior, mischief, wrong behavior, durachar. There's sadachar, there's durachar. And sudurachar, su intensifies. Durachar is misbehavior, bad behavior, offensive behavior, nasty behavior. And sudurachar, exceedingly nasty, exceedingly mischievous, exceedingly bad. Sudurachar. And Krishna goes so far as to say that even a person who is found to have committed sudurachar, exceedingly bad behavior, if solidly engaged in Krishna consciousness, has to be considered a sadhu. Api chet suduracharo bhajate mam ananyabha. If he uncompromisingly engages in the service of Krishna, sadhur eva, then definitely he has to be considered a sadhu. Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shanti nigachati. And he'll quickly come to the right point. If he's genuinely a devotee, then very quickly he realizes, oh, I've done the worst thing. And then he regrets. Otherwise, Prabhupada said he's not a high-grade devotee. But a genuine devotee, after committing some offenses, still he thinks, I'm so rotten. What kind of Vaishnava am I? I'm a discredit to the community of devotees. But still he won't give up. He goes on serving. And Krishna says he's a sadhu. And what to speak then? This is called kaimucha nyaya. What to speak of, the logic of what to speak of. If even such a misbehaved person is considered a sadhu, if he engages in devotional service, then what to speak of a person whose behavior is without discrepancies, whose behavior is good? Mahat seva. Mahat seva dvaramahva vimukte. Just by serving the dust of the lotus feet of such a person, the door to liberation is open. Better than serving Krishna is serving the Mahatma. Mahiyasham padarajobhishek. So such a person is very dear to Krishna. And offenses to such a person are intolerable for the Lord. We can tolerate hot sun on our heads, but hot sand on our feet is intolerable. And Krishna can tolerate offenses to himself, but he finds offenses to his devotee intolerable. The Durvasa Muni offended Maharaj Ambrish. And then the Sudarshan chased after him everywhere. That Shobhari Muni offended Garuda. Maybe Garuda wasn't quite to the point. First of all, his diet is non-vegetarian. You can criticize that. What to speak of not being vegan? He's not even vegetarian. And when there was some arrangement that, all right, some sacrifice will be offered, one fish, so that the whole fish community is not too much terrorizing. One snake, like that. Eating snakes, fish. So this Shobhari Muni became compassionate. Oh, the poor fish are being wrongly devoured by Garuda. This is not fair. So he criticized Garuda. Then he fell down. From being a strict yogi, he became a householder, taken to mean sense enjoyer. Married how many? 7 princesses. How many? 50. 50. From 0 to 50, just like that. Later he repented. He came back to the spiritual path. But how much trouble he had to undergo, what a fall down he had to undergo, because he criticized Garuda. And Garuda is the carrier of Lord Vishnu. So, Mahapurushapada Pamshabhi. We want to get the dust of the lotus feet of the devotee. Put the dust of the devotee on our head. But that same dust, which will miraculously free us from so much material dirt, will drive us down. Just a question of, Prabhupada said the recipient, in the sunshine, what is it, the lotus flourishes and the lily wilts. So that for a person who's submissive, who's respectful, and so on, the dust will probably, from the feet of the great devotee, will work miraculously. And for the offender, it will drive him down. And Sati says, Shobhanam, this is very good. It's as it should be. It is as it should be. And we'll see it as this pastime unfolds. What disaster befalls Daksha and his associates because of his offense to Lord Shiva, to a great person, greatest person, Vaishnava Ananyata. How careful we should be. This warning is again and again issued in Shastra. How careful we should be. Do not offend Vaishnavas. do not offend Vaishnavas. Even Krishna, who was that? The person became a serpent. Who was that? Not a serpent, a lizard. Nigra, King Nirga. He took something that belonged to Brahmins. But Krishna, after liberating King Nirga, instructed his sons, even if a Brahmin is harsh with you, just smile and take it. Don't offend the Brahmins. And then what to speak of the Vaishnavas? On a practical observation, I don't know what it is about the internet. I don't understand the deep causes for how it acts, the way it acts. The psychologists can discuss among themselves. But we see practically that people get on the internet and say things that they would never say in their right mind, or never say in person. They get on there and they think it's cool to nice kritika, to insult others. And that's the qualification. Expert in insulting others. In the 11th canto, it's said that in Kali Yuga, that's the qualification. The person will be considered great if he's expert in insulting others, if he's brash, if he's arrogant, and people say, way to go, right on, you nailed it. Like. Sadhu, sadhu. That's getting everything backwards. I don't know why even people who are otherwise you'd expect to be very good people, good devotees, somehow they get on the internet and lose their minds. Take it as a duty or a pleasure to criticize those who've dedicated their lives to propagating the holy name all over the world, dedicated their lives to the service of Krishna. One should be so fearful of offending devotees. That doesn't mean that any nonsense can go on and I don't want to commit offenses, so I just look the other way. There are cases where it's our duty to see these things. But we should be so, that should be with such great reluctance. Not very easily, not freely. Pressing send. It's madness. Apart from creating a disturbance for others, we can ruin our spirit, the most valuable thing after millions and millions and millions and millions of lifetimes. We get finally a human form of life, tadapi ajula martanam, which is short but can give us the greatest benefit. And we get on the keyboard and sink it. We ruin that precious opportunity gained after millions of lifetimes. So we should appreciate. We were talking the other day with Bhāgavatam Goswami. He said, I couldn't hear anything about. All I know is that the Vaishnavas are engaged in Krishna. Wouldn't hear anything. The bad news, the latest. Wouldn't hear it. We should glorify the Vaishnavas, appreciate the Vaishnavas. In the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada quotes from the Shinga Purana that the devotees have to be appreciated. Even the moon, if you look, you'll see spots. You know, poets are writing about the beauty of the moon, the brilliance of the moon, the soothing rays of the moon. And then there's some critic, spots. That's all they can see is it's got, what are they talking about? It's got spots all over it. So the faults in the behavior of a Vaishnava, the Nisringa Purana says, are like the marks of the rabbit on the moon. Here in the West, we see a man in the moon. In Vedic culture, they see Shashi, or Shasha, rabbit. The moon is also called Shashi because it's got a rabbit on it. The rabbit means the pattern of spots is seen as a rabbit. So the spots in the behavior of a Vaishnava are like the spots on the moon. They should be seen that way. That's the statement of the Nisringa Purana. We should see the beauty of the moon, the effulgence of the moon, and not be focused on the spots. Otherwise, while we're finding the faults of others, we're ruining our own life. Therefore, one is advised, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sada, Hori. We should be humble and not seeking respect for ourselves, but Manadena. Mana means respect. Manada means giving. So giving respect to others and not expecting respect for ourselves. We should go on chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Any question, comment? Yes.
Okay. Maharaj, I've had the experience in my life that I've met some devotees that are...
Ooh, terrible acoustics. I think if you put the microphone down, I'll hear you better. And then I'll repeat your question.
Like this?
No, just put the microphone aside.
Okay.
Just tell me without the microphone.
Okay. So I've met some Vaishnavas in my life that...
You met some Vaishnavas in your life
that are openly criticizing doing sadhu ninda.
That are openly criticizing doing sadhu ninda.
And, but at the same time, it seems like, and they're saying some very nasty things sometimes.
And
they're saying some very nasty things
they
sometimes.
say some really nasty things.
But at the same time, it seems like they have some kind of genuine, like, love for Guru and Krishna.
Seems like they have some genuine love for Guru and Krishna.
And we hear that by doing sadhu ninda, that everything is destroyed.
We see here that by sadhu ninda, everything is destroyed.
So sometimes it feels difficult for me to see how both can exist in the same.
It's hard to see. It seems contradictory how both can exist. He's doing sadhu ninda, and still looks like he's a sincere devotee doing lots of service. It may just be a question of time. We see that someone is doing wonderful service. He's sincere, devoted, and then at some point something happens. He falls down, what's the word, in a spectacular fashion. he becomes dishonored. Maranada Tiricite, Samphavitasya Chakirti, Maranada Tiricite, worse than death, to be humiliated. He can no longer chant Hare Krishna, he can no longer follow the regulative principles, he can no longer loses his taste, loses his interest, develops bad habits. What happened? Now Sadhananda can do that. Yes, Sadhananda can do that. Actually, we'll find in the Daksha Yagya that after insulting Lord Shiva, Daksha went on and did another sacrifice. Undertook a big, great sacrifice. One of several he did. He was going on with his program up till everything was smashed. He lost it. He was beheaded. The sacrifice was ruined. His associates were tormented. So, it may not happen overnight, but there it is. And such persons we should avoid. That Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, is it Jiva Goswami? One or the other. Third. The person's a Vaishnava, but his behavior is bad, then one should respect him from a distance. Bhāgavatam, third canto, right? I think so. Bhāgavatam, third canto. He's chanting, he's called a Vaishnava in the mode of ignorance. He should be respected. What is that? Yam Nama, Yam Krishna Nama. What is that verse? He's chanting the holy name of Krishna. And he has to be respected. But he should be respected from a distance. What is that verse? Okay, hold on. I thought you had my verse for me. So we should avoid such persons because one shouldn't speak criticism of a Vaishnava, one shouldn't hear it. It's said, we will find that, Sati will say, that in relation to her giving up the body. And if there's blasphemy of Vaishnava, we should defeat the person who's criticizing, or we should cut out his tongue, or we should hold our ears and flee. But we shouldn't sit there and listen, and especially not enjoy listening. That was a smart remark. No, we should avoid even hearing. Yes. We'll try a microphone. Didn't work very well over there. For some reason it makes it harder. You could try just speaking up.
Okay, I'll speak up. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Have you, when you experience people doing these
No, you have to
sadhu
speak up still.
okay, when you experience in your life people doing these, committing these offenses,
When you try holding the microphone closer, let's see if that does something good. Close. Go ahead.
what do you do if your parents commit these offenses, but you can't just walk away because that's also rude?
What do you do if your parents commit offenses, but
You can't walk away.
you can't walk away? Well, there are different things you can do. Of course, one thing, we can try not to provoke them. Let them, if they're going to offend Krishna, then we won't speak about Krishna to them, because we know they'll just offend. So why should they get in hot water because of us? Better we won't say anything. That's one possibility. Let them be. Another thing is, if we know they're going to offend, then we'll avoid them. I'll be stuck, I won't be able to walk away. Well, better not to go in. Right? If it's going to be a fire trap, then I don't want to go in. So that's sort of an advanced solution. Let me not get into that circumstance, especially if I see it coming. I know it's going to be there, or the risk is high. All right. And maybe a phone call or some other way of communicating, or just giving them some time. But we try to do things in such a way that they won't commit offenses. Because they don't see us, because we don't say anything, because whatever reason. So let them commit, at least let them not commit offenses when we're there, so that we have to hear it. And better that they, let them criticize some materialist or something. If they want to criticize, there's lots of, they can criticize politicians or something. No big harm there. They're all rogues. If somehow we're stuck, it's going on, then we look for the earliest opportunity to, or you can change the subject. They're blaspheming something. Did you hear about King Arthur? You could tell the whole story about the round table and whatever else. Yes.
Thank you.
So I'm thinking about, this is better, Marge?
Much better, yes.
So I'm thinking about this idea of discernment.
The idea of discernment. Yes.
And sometimes we can use that as an excuse to see faults in others.
Sometimes we can use it as an excuse to find faults in others, yes.
For example, we also have, on the other hand, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, who won't even hear someone committing a mistake. And so I'm wondering if you can help elaborate the fine line of difference between seeing fault in others for our own progress in spiritual life, in terms of understanding this person is behaving in a certain way and I'm utilizing my discernment to keep a distance, and between making it a habit.
How do we avoid habitual discernment of the faults of others, and at the same time keep our wits about us, keep the ability to discern what is what? Of course, it's advised here to err on the side of caution. Better. That's the sign of it. We were hearing that. The sign of a great soul. He doesn't, even where there's faults, he sees something good. Better to follow the great souls than to follow those who are the other way. Even where it's good, they'll see bad in it. So better that way. Also, we can consider our duty. The judge has to discern the case. Does this person deserve this, or does this person deserve that? Not that everybody becomes the judge. That's sort of modern democratic mentality, that everything is for us to consider and reconsider and have an opinion about and speak out about and blah, 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 blah. Why is it our business where we should chant Hare Krishna? We have, higher purpose in life than to think about all the good qualities and faults of others. Let's chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Sometimes it's my duty. If I'm the king, if I'm the temple president, many other things. Then in relation to my duty, I may have to discern. Is this person a threat? Is this person trouble, going to cause trouble? We have to discern. Even in ordinary affairs, is this person cheating me or is this person charging improper? Discernment means intelligence. If you can't discern A from B, you can't read a word. So discernment is required. But we should be very careful about becoming something. We don't have to criticize to discern. A discerning person, he sees, okay, this is what it is. I have some other engagement. Let me go elsewhere. That discernment, not that as soon as I discern something, then I'm on the keyboard. But all right, this is trouble. Yeah. An expert pilot, he flies above the turbulence. Hare Krishna. All right. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Śrīmad. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande.